only Joe McNally.
Welcome. Again, I said it earlier, you guys are troopers for coming out into the rain and in the nighttime to talk about lighting. Oh my gosh, you know. This is fair game. All questions are welcome. You know, we got an hour together and, you know, just sing it out. I'm comfortable going any which way from Sunday. You know, it's cool by me. And the main thing I always emphasize about these engagements, if you will, is that it's not about me, it's about you, okay? And it's not a lecture. I'm going to be demonstrating some stuff, but it's a discussion, okay? I enjoy the company of photographers, and we all struggle with the same issues, you know, anxiety, depression, bankruptcy. We all struggle with, you know, very similar things about, or is it good enough? Am I good enough? Is the picture going to be okay? Is the assignment, will the client be happy? We struggle with a lot of the same issues. We also have a lot of the same triumphs, you know, when you get that really wonderful picture, the one you thought you were coming for and really wanted to get, that can be the wind in your sails for a long, long time, you know, because this is a very up and down business. So we're good, right? We can just jump in, we'll start, all right? So we are really blessed tonight to have a lovely, lovely person, lovely face, etc., good presence in front of the camera in Giselle. And so why don't you come on up? All right, so I'm tethered, we're hot, okay? So one of the things I do when I'm about to light something, especially in a confined space like this with all of the various lights that are going on here, is I try to achieve control. So, you know, I do that via f-stop, shutter speed, ISO, right? And what I'll do here is I'll basically try to blind the chip, right? I'll introduce certain factors in the exposure aspect of this that will make it, well, maybe not completely blacked out, but it'll make sure that anything that's substantial that gets recorded by the camera, I introduced on some level. Also kind of cool that ProPhoto came by earlier and they dropped their brand new light. It's a Pro B3. It's battery operated, 750 watt seconds. I've never even seen it before. So why not do a demonstration with a piece of equipment I've never used? Okay, there we go, you know. And they came earlier and said, hey, could you really use this? I'm like, yeah, sure, you know, okay. So forgive me, Giselle, beforehand, because this thing is a monster light. And I don't literally want to blow you to the back of the store with this thing. So I'll try to modulate it, keep it nice and friendly. All right, yes, yeah, way to go. All right, it's you and me, okay? All right. So anyway, here we go. Let's do this. So you could just kind of locate yourself right about there. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm using Nikon Z9, and I have a 24 to 120 lens. Anybody use this lens? Yeah. It's an awesome lens. It actually focuses really closely. It can almost double as a micro, you know, in certain ways. But it's also just an incredibly handy, very sharp, very durable, but it's incredibly handy set of millimeters, right? Because I can do a portrait, I can do a scene, I can be on the street, I can be in the studio, okay? I mean, and some folks might look at this and say, oh, f4, you know, I mean, I don't use a lens unless it is 1.2. Okay, we're all a little bokeh crazy, right? But we're not going to get there tonight. You know, we'll just, this is a utilitarian lens. And I mean that as high praise, because it's basically always in my bag. So you don't really need to do anything. I'm just going to this is going to be a blank frame and there, okay? Thank you for coming tonight. Giselle, the emotional power of what I just rendered is, I'm a little exhausted already. All right. So obviously we need light. And we'll go, as I said, with big flash, which is going to be kind of a lot of light. I'm not, you know, I'll give it a try. Oh, goodness me. All right. Maybe Giselle just back off just a little bit. Thanks. So here's the thing. Oh, God, these things. But it's actually genius design. You know, what's going on here with ProPhoto. They've come up with some amazing stuff. and one I'm about to use is now, they keep getting bigger with these things. This is a brand new and mildly stiff 4-foot octa with a grid. And you see what just happened? I just clicked it open. Anybody ever use a big softbox out in the world, in the wind, with all the sticks, trying to jam them into the little holes? Yeah, you feel you're wrestling, a wild animal. So let's do this. Seth is probably going to be angry at me because I'm messing with the pristine nature of this grid. All right, so we are, let's see, so 4C.
It's only my personal softbox. Go ahead, knock yourself out.
All right, I'm going to make this 4A. So we're going to use a air group and channel 4A. And Giselle, you can kind of come on out a little bit, and we'll just play with this light. And so I've got, oops, didn't I make you a promise? I just broke it. Sorry for that. All right, so great news. The light and the controller are talking to each other. So let's not pose or anything. Let me just kind of whale this light at you, and we'll see where we are. It's a manual light. I have no idea what the power level of it is exactly. I mean, it's 4.0. So let's just take a look and see where we are. Where are we? Where's that? Okay. So we're, hugely underexposed, but that's okay. I mean, I've got light to burn in this, okay? So it's not a big issue for me in terms of being a little underexposed. The good news is that, I've got the grid on, so I've got kind of a shadow and a highlight to the background, maybe a mild gradation. So let's do this. I'll oftentimes pitch a light because, to a small degree, then the light tapers. Right? You want the light to collect up near the head and shoulders. You don't want to light her feet to the same value you're lighting her face. So, Jill, if I could, see what you're doing right now? Just kick your leg again like that and look at the light, okay? That's nice. So, what do you say, folks? 2 stops? Okay, thanks for that. Really appreciate it. That kind of deadline information, man. I tell you. All right. And there we go. She's kind of in the highlight. And you guys can't even see this. Can they see? Oh, they got it up there. All right, good.
First time?
Yeah, it is, actually, I showed up to fix the air conditioning. They said, hey, you want to do the demo tonight? I'm like, okay, sure, fine.
And where's the air conditioning? Where's the air conditioning?
And I got 2 words for you, Seth, and they're not happy birthday. Anyway, it's kind of, if you took the grid off, you kind of open that shadow a little bit. I can take the angle a little bit less steep. Could you back up towards the back? I'm going to play with this light just a little bit to see what kind of different looks we'll get out of it. Is everybody cool with that? Yeah. Okay. All right, so let's swing this. I've just done a bad thing, by the way, but I think we'll survive. Always when you have a heavy light, and this is a heavy stand here, or a heavy lamp head up here, if you will, always have to lead it over the biggest leg of the C-stand because that will bear the most weight. Now scooch this way a tiny bit. Okay, right there. Now, she backed off. How far did she back off? About half the distance or so, so I'm thinking that's maybe another half stop. Let's go to 6.7 and see where we are. That's absolutely lovely. And now I've kind of eliminated the steepness of the shadow. There's a little bit up in the corner there. But, if I brought the light around in a more full direction, okay, that backdrop would be kind of mildly open gray, kind of a thing. So, the light position, we are beasts of burden, right? We are conditioned to sort of lift and pull and haul. But by placing the light or placing your subject in different positions relative to the light, you can get a lot of different looks out of one light without actually even sort of touching the light or maybe moving it in minimal fashion, okay? So let's do this. Well, at the end of it, I'll get to like an open look where we come around and there's no grid on it. But I tell you what, Giselle, let's do this. I'm going to move this guy back this way. Can you, right about here, come to about here, okay? And again, just kind of kick your chin towards the light. That's absolutely lovely, fantastic, thank you. Now that's going to be a little bright, right? Because I didn't reduce my power. I brought her closer to the light, so I've got control of the power. I'm also at 35-ish, so I'm going to back up a little bit, go to a more telephoto, because a little too wide angle. I'm not being particularly kind to her at this point, so let me back up in here. Beautiful, beautiful, lovely. Same exposure. That was a nice move on my part. Let's go to cut it down just about. And you could be done right now, right? I mean, it's a nice looking photograph. Look, the deck is stacked in my favor up here, right? Because she's beautiful. But could I ask you to just step off stage? Same pose as her. Look into the light, come a little closer. All right, nice, good look. Okay, so I've had some people call me out and say, oh, well, your pictures look good because the model's so beautiful. Okay, come on stage.
So what you trying to say?
I'm saying you have a character-driven face. And there you go. And yeah, come on, now sit down. You come up here and you give me grief. All I'm saying is your face, like mine, has been around the block a few times more than hers has. Okay, can we accept that? All right.
I appreciate your confidence. I just want to say I appreciate you. I just want you to know that.
Here's the thing, you gotta have fun doing this, because it's just so bloody hard to do sometimes that if you're not really in love with it, if you're not absolutely head over heels with the sound of the shutter, which we can now silence, okay, which is actually pretty handy, but then why, then why? Because this is something you really do have to love and just keep tumbling over yourself, because there's bumps and bruises along the way for sure. Okay. Let's see. So, well, let's get back to, just kind of view again. Oh, that's lovely. That's lovely. Amazing thing you do with the scarf. Look at that. People who are comfortable in front of the camera, aren't they an amazing gift to us, right? Instead of having some, kind of like, Mr. or Mrs. Big Shot, uncomfortable sort of person that's like, where do I put my hands? She's effortless, and you want the pictures to be effortless. But let's do this. Let's move you to the leading edge of the box. Let's put you come forward here, and I want your face right about here, right about where my hand is. Come, and this way, please. And now look towards the box, if you don't mind. Okay? That might be a little steep, but we'll see how we do. I'm going to keep the f-stop and power ratio the same. All right, so now you see the shadow thickened, right? The shadow thickened because her position relative to the light is far more steep than it was. So I'm not moving the softbox at all. I'm moving my subject back and forth. And that distance or the angle of the approach of the light will create, in effect, its own charisma, if you will. Now, the Seth Miranda pizza box is where?
You want the real one?
I want the pizza box, the thing that says Seth Miranda Pizza on. Why are you getting exasperated with me?
I don't know if you're going to use it right. I'm just saying.
Oh. All right, same pose.
Watch. You can hold it like this. Watch.
Yeah, but I'm not going to do that.
What are you going to fold it?
He doesn't even allow me to think for myself, at this point.
How many fires have we put out here? Thanks.
Here, make yourself useful.
Turn on the modeling light so you can see what's going on.
Angle or straight?
Straight up and down. Here, let's move it in here. Okay, that's a beautiful pose. That's absolutely lovely. So it opens up considerably, right? Just a little silver board, right? And then if you could, let's move back a little bit, please, Giselle. If you could slide a tabletop right in here. Just like that, maybe higher. And maybe let's go horizontal in front of the light, get as much play out of it as we possibly can. Okay, let's do that. Up, up, up. Nice, nice, nice. And here we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Nice. And now you see how the lift is happening there as opposed to, you know, and we're just going to keep rolling here. That wasn't the greatest pose, you know, that I caught her at a little bit off, but all I'm trying to do here is use some simple tools, rotating around one big light source that gives you distinctly different looks. Okay? Now, let's do this. Okay, we can put the pizza box away. Thank you so much. And, you know, if I keep calling on you, I'm not going to apologize because it's your fault you sat up front. All right, so let's do this. This will be 4B. Cool. So this is a Profoto A2. I call them little, well, Profoto calls them this too. They're like a little soda can light. It's about the size and shape of a can of Coke. All right, so let's do this. So I'll use kind of maybe kind of a purplish sort of lavender light, or maybe like because does anybody else share my enthusiasm for Giselle and the fact that she looks a bit, remember, a little evocative of an era gone by. I believe that you might be referred to as a chanteuse, you know, a singer, kind of with hair. Sarah, would anybody share that estimation with me? There's a evocative thing about.
Josephine Baker hairstyle. There you go.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So let's try this. So again, this is the same kind of click operation, you know, as the bigger box. No, this one's different.
That's the old school one.
Yeah, it's the old school one. Okay, but I tell you, singing Profoto's praises. Some of the stuff they have come out with in terms of ease of use out in the field has been really, really, I think, a powerful, powerful thing. The nice thing, I love strip lights because the human body is a vertical shape. So you can array these in vertical way, but it also, you can spin them around, you know, and get different angles. So that's kind of nice. Listen to me, isn't that a wonderful explanation? Well, it's kind of nice, you know, it's okay. It's highly effective in the field. All right, could you strike that pose again for me just for a sec? Maybe Giselle, come in this way, come forward. Okay, now, again, you're just going to kind of emote into the light, okay? Is this going in a good direction? Folks having fun? All right, cool. All right. As I kick my camera, but it's a Z9, it can take it.
It's true.
All right, so 6.0, 6.0. I have no idea where exactly that light is. It has a gel on it. It's much lower power than this light, okay? But let's see if it has any impact whatsoever. That's absolutely lovely. Nothing yet. Is anybody picking up anything? Not really seeing anything.
She's showing you're getting a little bit.
So when I get to a situation like this, sometimes I just take the light and I crank it full. I'm like, okay, I'm not having an impact. Let's go full boat, you know, and see what happens. And then I know immediately if I'm in trouble or not, because if I haven't got enough power, then I gotta go to plan B. Sartaj.
Be setting your camera to the flash sync speed with that power?
Repeat it.
Oh, setting the camera to flash sync speed? No, I mean, you know, you're talking about higher shutter speeds. I kind of leave flash. You're talking about X sync, you know,
Just to get more power out of
to go back out of high speed. In other words, down to a more normal shutter speed. Yes, yes. If it comes to that, I could do that. I could back myself down to a 200th of a second. I am currently at 640. Right, which I see where you're going with this. In high-speed sync. Everybody knows high-speed sync, right? You start to drain the power of the flash a bit. But before I abandon my turf here, I'll give it one more crack and see if I have enough juice in that light. All right, that's lovely. Stay with me. There we go. So got a little green, maybe kind of, you know, could be a nightclub feel, maybe, you know, I mean, I'm manufacturing, I'm drawing straws out of the air here, but what I'm trying to see is how would this look with a little bit of color, you know, and it's actually light is pretty well placed, you know, because you got the shoulder, etc. We could do this. How am I doing on time, Seth?
You're eating it up. Don't worry. You're going to survive the hour. You'll be all right.
Well, I
I
don't
got
want
you.
to,
You're 20 minutes deep.
All right.
Don't worry about it. I know a guy that can keep the place going. Don't worry. Took off your ankle cuff. You're free for the night.
All right, so I pitched it a little bit. Might take a little heat off the shoulder and maybe kind of curl around more to the top of her hair. Let's see how we did. Oh, that's lovely. That's beautiful. Now, she's not into that light, but yeah. See, now this, depending on the attitude of her head, even though this is a big source, you can see what's starting to happen is that as she moves around, there might be kind of variations in tone and tenor and beautiful feel. Now, I do feel the green is maybe at 10.0 is maybe a little bit brassy. I'll take it down to 8.5. That's it. Stay. Look down. That's beautiful. Shade your eyes. That's lovely. That's lovely. Stay with. Okay, I have my equipment in the picture, but I'm not going to worry about that. All right, I took that's a beautiful pose. I took a little. You can see the green a little bit. I'm looking over here. I could look right here. Yeah. So let's see. Okay, so I'll come back up to maybe 9.5. Beautiful, beautiful. Way to go, Giselle. Yeah. So now we got a little smattering of green. It's a little higher on her hair. You know, light is the big three of light. Everybody knows the big three, right? The holy trinity of light, whatever, you know. Quality, color, direction, right? So I've influenced the scene now by having one big light, establishing the field of play, if you will, and then starting to maneuver with quality, right? Big light, super great quality, right? So the smaller light is going to produce a more punchy tone. And I've used that now to introduce a color. So I'm using those three to play and just have, you know, just basically a lovely time, lovely model. And, you know, everybody feel all right about this? You know, so that's one light off to the side, then dropping in another light. So let's go with a different look before we abandon this big light. So the grid, obviously everybody knows what a grid does. It collimates the light, directionalizes it. Wow, I love it when the stuff is brand new, you know, and actually works.
Don't.
Is this bothering anybody over here? We're good? All right, so let's see. All right, kill this all together. Back in there. All right, nice. Now, I'm going to ask you to take a step back to the backdrop. Now, I do try, when I have the time, etc., I do try to see how the light is going to intersect with my subject's face. So I come over by, I always ask permission. I'm going to come right next to you. I'm going to be right at your shoulder. I want to see how that light is looking at the subject. Because if I'm behind it making judgment calls from back by camera, the light could be 10, 20 degrees off of optimal. And I don't want that.
You got a question in the chat.
Question in the chat.
They're asking in the chat, when using gels in a softbox, would it be recommended to use a silver interior or white interior? How would this affect the color emitted by the gel?
Interesting question. You know, in many instances with softboxes, I don't really have a choice. With ProPhoto, they're generally silver. You know, they make a beauty dish that's white, a beauty dish that's silver. So I've, generally speaking, always liked a white interior because the light is a little more milky, a little more creamy. Silver tends to produce a little more of a fashiony snap. And so when you're using gels, I think a silver could potentially be the way to go because there's going to be a crispness to it. And it gives you, I don't know, it's a, struggling for the words here, it's more of a slicing kind of a gel. It has a little crisper edge to it, perhaps, coming out of the silver.
A little more contrasting.
Yeah, contrast, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah, hey. So anyway, so this one, I'd like you to play right to camera. Maybe put hands on hips, maybe, you know, get a little fashiony or roll a shoulder or two, something like that. It's just going to be an open light. But before you start doing like extensive posing, let me get my light right. Okay, so don't expend any energy, all right?
Thank you.
That's one.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, how many folks have been on the set and you've had a model and the model gives you a great look and you're looking at the LCD? Oh, you know, I mean, it doesn't put him or her into a good space, right? So I always tell, like, I try to get my ducks in a row, technically speaking, prior to the model hitting the set. Because, you know, the model is your most valuable resource. You know, whoever it is in front of the camera, be it an athlete, be it an opera star, be it whoever, right? You don't want to burn their energy before you really get down to it. So I'm blessed in that oftentimes I'll have an assistant on the set with me, and I'll use the assistant. But the thing is, the photograph you make of the assistant can be very discouraging. So you look at the assistant and go, holy smoke, I'm in trouble, you know? But then you kind of calm yourself down. It's the assistant. And always remember, you've been sent to photograph somebody because more than likely you've been sent there because they're extraordinary. And when the real subject gets in front of your light, they transform everything. I have found that to be consistently true. Where I've had kind of a, you know, I don't know if this is going to work. The subject gets in and bingo, there's magic that happens. Oftentimes, sometimes, here and there. I mean, you know, but no, there is this transformation. And that's a beautiful thing about being a photographer. You are oftentimes sent to photograph somebody, whoever it is, because of the scope of their talent, their extraordinary abilities, their presence. They're just exceptional, and so they're worthy of a photograph. And so there's a give and take there that's very positive. And we are in that situation tonight with Giselle. So I'm going to stand right in front of this light. You know, I've got an enormous fat head, but the light's so big it's going to not even bother. I'll put a shadow on you. Here we go, here we go. Okay. Very different feel, right? Very different feel, very open, very clean, you know? And, okay, where is it? Pizza box, where'd it go?
Do you want a reflector or do you want that?
Oh, either. You got a reflector? I'll take.
I'll give you
Or I built that, oh, nice, okay, cool.
silver white.
All right, so let's go with silver.
But did you want me to actually do something? What do you want to do?
Just bring it in tabletop here. Now, I don't think at this angle it's going to have a tremendous effect because, you know, the light is sort of flat to her, but we'll get there. We'll mess around. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. That's lovely. All right, anybody pick up on anything? Not so much. Can you give it twosome up there?
What do you want, this one?
Yeah, a comparison thing? Yeah, definitely. You see the chin shadow on the right-hand photograph? It's a little more open than the left hand. Tiny bit, tiny bit. Okay. All right, here we go. Now, we're gonna, we should grab a sandbag for this guy. Come forward, please. Tiny bit more. Perfect, thank you. All right. Now, it's going to get a little brighter, so I'm going to do a smart thing. I'm going to take this light, I'm going to put it down to like 5.2. All right, here we go. So let's do one without fill, and then we'll put it in a fill. Lovely, lovely. Okay, I'm still, you know,
This guy's taking my job.
I'm at 35 again, so that's not the friendliest millimeter length for a portrait, forgive me. Okay, there we go. And maybe flat. Tabletop it, higher, please, thank you. You're awesome. Nice. Whoops. Well, that last one wasn't sharp at all. Hang on. That's a pretty nice beauty portrait. You can see if you can see in the lower quadrant of her eye, there is the reflection of the board.
Yeah.
And you can judge that, you know, it's still not. What's going on here?
I know you're shooting JPEG, right?
Yes. Yeah. All right. All right. Cool. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, okay, let's push that board in a little bit, even a little bit more, if you don't mind. Whoops. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Stay with me. Nice. All right. All right, and that's pretty simple, pretty clean, easily done. One light, fill board. Okay, and it's a lovely, lovely approach to the light. It's beautiful for her face, and now we've worked our way from shadows and gels into just a straightforward, clean white background is 5 feet behind her. It turns nice and gray, and this is open and clean. Questions? We good? Yes.
From this one light setup, how would you approach if, like, the client goes, "Hey, I want full white backdrop now"? Is that
I'd spin some sort of crap at the client about how the gray is much nicer. No, yeah. Okay, repeat the question. Question in the audience is how would I get this white? You know, the background white. You know, okay, let's do that. I'm so happy for this. We'll talk later, you and I.
You said this is for us.
Yes, it is. It is. No, I absolutely appreciate what you're doing here, because what
I'd
we're
like
going
to know
do.
that you guys can feel so comfortable here with what we've built that you can bark at Joe McNally.
Put this here. All right, thanks, man. So that's A group. Yeah, I'll put the Oh no, we should be able to do it with this, he said with confidence. Yeah, the spread could be an issue here, but let's see what, you know, I'm a big fan of like seeing where it takes me, you know. Let's just see what happens, you know, and you know, if you screw up, well, okay. Has anybody here ever made a mistake with a camera in their hands? No. All right. Mistakes are part of the game. You know what I'm going to do, actually, though? Now, there may be, now, let me say this. I would not light a white background, generally speaking, with one light source, right? Now, there may be some vignetting at the corners of this. Classic white background, 2 lights, V-flats to shelter the camera lens. Okay, you take the right-hand light source, throw it to the left of the drop. Left-hand source to the right of the drop. That way, you'll have hopefully no more than 2/10 or so of a variance in light value all across the drop, which we used to have to do in the days of film. We just take a light meter and go pop, 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 and then just swing them back and forth. We would actually measure, you know, the distance of the lights to the backdrop and the angle. If you wanted like a real sweep and just open light, 2 umbrellas. Could easily go on a couple of powerful light sources, but with umbrellas or something like that, you had to be very careful of flare coming towards the lens. So you would really need a pair of V-flats. I'm probably going on too long here, but a lot of headshot photographers who use a white background would also literally build kind of a channel. So they would take another V-flat or black foam core board and they would put it horizontally. So you'd have these flags here and a horizontal flag and literally create an isolated channel where the camera would only see a small amount of the white. Because a big, big source of white just barreling at the lens can mitigate the contrast of the lens and make the picture seem less than sharp, optimally sharp, okay? So there's all sorts of ways to do that. There's about 1,000 ways to light a white background. But let's give this a try and we'll see if we can do it kind of quick and dirty. Anybody remember or know a name named Bill King? Very famous fashion photographer from way back in the day. And actually his excellence, he was a wild, crazy guy, but there was a thing called the Bill King White, believe it or not. It was just like this extra fillip of brilliance. And people would talk about it in the industry, like, how's he getting that, you know? But
Just did a whole white background video on PP.
so sorry, Giselle, you can stay right there. I'm just gonna kind of put this kind of right behind you. Fantastic. All right. So as Seth said, what we might have a problem with is spread. But let's do this. Did I just walk into my own light source? That's okay. All right. So.
It's a small space, Joe, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, you know.
Tell me about it. All right.
Only the strong survive here. I don't know.
All right. So, all right, here we go. Fantastic. I'm going to widen out, even though I should be at more portrait length. Let me just widen out here, just for the sake of argument, and we'll see where we are. This is, hang in there.
Not bad, man.
All right. It's not.
No, you got 255. You did it. Look at you. I'm so proud of you. Look at this. Look at that.
Well, here's where more control would come in. If you flag these with V-flats, you see the little scallop of light on her right cheek? You know, you could like that or you could block it, which we're not going to do tonight, okay? But now, if I did this, I'm okay, you know, I can do some math here if I wanted to. I could take my all right, I went from ISO 400 to ISO 640. And I'm going to take my foreground light down, you know, 4.5. Let's see where we are. Beautiful. That's lovely. So now, I mean, you're starting to get a little bit much, but also, too, I've stayed in context with my foreground light, and I made the background light even brighter by just, you know, it stays at the same level. I just opened up the ISO. Everybody should remember that. I'm sure you do. I'm sure, I apologize if I'm telling you stuff you already know, but you can, you know, you can bracket your ISO. And that's a tremendous gift that we have, right? I no longer fear ISO 1600. When, you know, shooting film, I didn't have that option. I mean, 5,000 wasn't the stuff, it was the stuff of dreams, you know, or it was ridiculous to even think about those numbers. When I would go out for geographic, I'd have 2 bags, 2 pockets filled with film. Kodachrome 64, Kodachrome 200. 200 was it, right? I couldn't go beyond that, generally speaking. Unless it was a special situation, maybe I'd go to colored egg, ISO 800 or something like that. But these were not big numbers the way we have nowadays. All right, now if you remember, I've shot these last couple here without the fill board. Can we get the fill board back in, please?
Super white, so you're gonna get a lot of kick onto that reflector, don't forget.
Okay, well, let's give it a try. Seth just reminded we're using a super white background, not a quote unquote, regular white. Super white is a nice, brilliant kind of feedback. Okay, let's go silver. Let's go silver. Let's like go for the whole shooting match here. Fantastic.
Super white has micro reflectors in it, like crystals, so you get a lot of.
So now, classically, some folks could look at this and say, and piece it apart. Just say, well, I don't like the highlights. I don't like this. I don't like that. I like it, right? Remember where we started with the kind of the shadowy kind of, chanteuse look, kind of a little bit late night, smoky bar kind of feel. And now we are open and bright. Beautiful. So, and you can do a lot with this file if you want to, and introduce a little contrast, meet the background. But art director will love you if you give them a brilliant white background, because it means they don't have to do any retouching, and they are lazy sons of, anyway. So, okay, I'm gonna stop right now. I'm gonna reel it back in, Giselle. Okay, all right? Thank you. Why don't you have a seat on the Apple box for a second? All right, thank you again. Appreciate it. All right, so now, how am I doing on time?
You're at 45 minutes.
All right, so I got another 15?
You guys, if you want to go over, go.
All right. 3 hours later, and then Master put the light over here, and it worked out very well. Anyway, I go away here and there during the course of a day. I take these little flights of fancy. My wife actually gets very concerned when I take them publicly. But, she might be online right now. I don't know. She's probably at home with her head in her hands right now. Oh, my God. Anyway, so let's kill this guy. Thanks for your help, Seth.
You started touching. You know what? Go spiel. Go be Joe. All right.
All right, so we need to break this down. Just FYI, again, this is the Pro B3. It just got launched last week. It is 750 watt seconds. You can see it's considerably bigger than a B10 Plus X, which remains at 500 watt seconds. So,
And it's battery powered.
They also make a D3, it's 1250.
Yeah.
Just came out.
Yeah.
AC powered light, 1250 watt seconds. Yeah. I mean, the thing's a monster. It's an absolute monster. And they,
Strike it.
yeah, you can strike that. Okay, I tell you what, let's do a little wardrobe change.
What are you doing?
I'm just getting the lady's jacket. Okay, if I may. Not a worry. Okay, so pretty cool, right? Pretty cool. Probably should have done that outfit with the big light. But hey,
You look like Jada Pinkett right out of Matrix.
All right, so let me put this over here too. So one thing I do in between sets is I tend to, if I remember, I tend to shut all my lights down. Because you throw a light off the set, you're moving fast, and then you realize afterwards it's still being triggered and it's influencing your scene. And you don't want that, especially in a space like this. So I just make sure things are actually, off. And so let's do this. Not quite yet. Let's do this. Let's take this guy off. So, did you see where that that Magnum click went to?
Put it over here.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's all set up. There we go.
You want it with the Fresnel?
I don't think we'll need the Fresnel actually. So now we'll get into the realm of small sources. So is everybody cool if I start kind of super raw, super basic? We'll just put this overhead of her and see where we go. So remember, the governors of light, reflector pans, grids, all that sort of stuff are pretty necessary, because when you set off a flash, especially if you're working in a studio with like white walls or something like that, I mean, light goes everywhere, absolutely everywhere. And you have to, that's one of the main things you have to adapt to or learn over the course of time is, how do I control light? So I'm going to shift this one now into, I'll make this my main light. So it'll be 4A. Okay. And I'll probably take it down to a fairly low power. So what I'm going to do, Giselle, what I'm going to ask you to do is, when you come forward, when I raise this light up, I'll ask you to do something dramatic in terms of a pose. Maybe grab your lapels, and I'd like everything to be up, almost as if you are singing an opera. It's the closing aria to a dramatic scene, and you're just emoting into the light up here, okay? Okay. All right, so this is a little nutty. But let's see where it takes us.
You want me right on there?
Yes, if you could be right under it. I did you a bad turn. Hang on one second. Give me just a sec. I'm going to bring this down. Step back, please. Just a little bit. Give you a little more room. Seth, do we have another sandbag just in case kind of thing?
Giant light and all,
Yeah, but we have this wonderful person underneath of it. All right. Yeah, so locate yourself there. So when you look up, you're going to see that light, okay? Okay, all right. So let me start at 5.0. Okay, here we go. Beautiful. So, all right, so not too much gradation or happening in the background. What is happening, you see the low wash, that's just coming off the floor. So if you can imagine, if you sweep this white all the way out, you will emphasize that bounce, and you will get like a little more softness and gradation coming up off the floor. So,
You want to throw boards down? I got boards.
you want to drop a, but we only got a few minutes.
It's up to you.
How are you guys doing on time? I'm not going to go forever here, but maybe I might run 10 minutes over or something like that. Okay, all right, why don't we throw down a board?
You want to do a front bang, or you want to get the background hit?
Let's get the background hit, please. And Giselle,
Get out
Do
of
you-
here.
do you do any acting or, yeah? Could I ask you, let's do this. Imagine you're kind of in this horror movie, okay? And you're looking up at this light, and I'll ask you to shout at the light, maybe even scream at it with your hands more, instead of hanging onto your lapels, there's more tension in your fingers, and I'll scream with you. We can be embarrassed together. Is that okay? All right?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give you the cue, all right?
It's gonna be a horror story. Okay.
Yeah. It's very advantageous, to give your subjects something to chew on in their head. Maybe, she doesn't need it because she's very confident, as she should be, in front of the lens. But a lot of folks, if you give them something, a passage from literature, a song, something, I did a thing years ago for the Jersey Boys when they opened on Broadway, and I had the entire cast, the writer, the director, the producer, all guys, right? The Jersey Boys, super smart, super funny, and they were going to eat my lunch if I didn't keep up with them. So you have to be strong about that stuff. You have to go after them with your own sense of ego. And I was shouting at them and yelling at them, and I still wasn't getting there. And I said, all right, I want you guys to walk down the block at me. You know, I had like a 70 to 200 on, and my assistant is backpedaling down the block with a raw flash. And they were just kind of, you know, what this guy, you know. And I said, stop it, go back. All right, walk at me and give me Reservoir Dogs. And it was immediate. It was immediate. They went from like this to, okay, all right, I'm bad, you know. And so you give people a little motivation like that, and it works. It actually works.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, nothing like gorilla.
There you go. All right, so I'll give you a count of 3, and we'll scream together. You ready? All right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Stay right there. Please stay, stay, stay. That's lovely. That's lovely. 1, 2, 3. Ah!
Not that much, huh? Because the light's spilling in front of him more than back.
Yeah, yeah. But that's okay. But you see the light is kind of emphasizing the tension, right? And it's kind of fun, right? It's kind of fun.
Do you want to knock that one down into that?
You mean up front?
No, in the back. You want
Sure,
to lead up the
sure.
back, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that sounds good. That sounds good. I run a very easygoing set, by the way. I mean, even with sets, I say please and thank you. You know, I really do. You know,
He does feed me.
because you know, Seth. Well, he's not a young photographer anymore, but he's very, very good at what he does. Seth knows more information about more cameras than anybody, I think, in the industry, because he has to in his position here at Adorama. He's got to deal with all of the stuff, you know, just fast, fast, fast. And he's also got a really, you know, interesting imagination. So I really respect that. And
I can shoot too, you know.
well, that's really, it's never enough.
Wait,
It's
that's got a green gel on it. It might be cool.
all right, let's give it a try. For photographers, it's never enough. It's never enough. I had an editor I was always at odds with, and she would look at me sometimes. She'd go, you know, photographers unfillable pits. You know, you can't make them happy. All right, point taken.
Come on, Joe.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. That's beautiful. That's lovely. Absolutely fantastic. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ah! All right, that's a lot of
So
green.
now that's Matrix.
You know.
I mean, she's got the Jada Pinkett going. Now you got the Matrix green. Now you just got to dial it.
Okay, but here's the thing. Can you just don't have to emote or anything. Just look at me straight up. Scooch this way, tiny bit, tiny right there. Just all right. So without the kick of her head up, that's what you've got, right? You just don't have a picture, right? But if you do this and make the light, see what we call this kind of light. Say if you were had a big source up there. Does anybody remember the movie poster for Goodfellas?
Yeah, man.
You know, Pesci and Ray Liotta and De Niro. And I call, like a soft light directly tabletopped over my subject, I call it the you looking at me light, because they're shadows. It's not friendly, right? It's just not friendly. You're characterizing someone with the language of light. It's not the kind of light you're going to use for a maternity shoot, you know, or something like that. It's a light that you're going to use for somebody who's going to take you in a back alley and beat the living daylights out of you. That's the language that you can apply. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this light. I'm going to drag it a little bit forward of her.
While Joe's doing that, I got like 200 of you in this chat and 59 likes. You know, Joe feeds himself with likes. So I'm going to need you guys to hit the thumbs up, support this channel, hit subscribe if you haven't already. You might think you're subscribed to this, but you're not. You're subscribed to the main channel, not this one, I promise. Adorama Events, new channel.
Ever heard you likened to Halle Berry?
Yes. Yeah. Often. Especially now that I cut my hair.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Now, no more like screaming at the light. Okay, just look at me, get a little fashion, get a hand up. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Stay right there. Lovely. So that's one raw light. The background light obviously is still too green. So where is that light at? It's not, that's why it's a little green back here. It is cranked to 9.5. So let's, you know, everybody knows this, so I apologize again, but it's a little counterintuitive. But the less power you put into a gelled light, the more vibrant the color. Because if you put too much power into a gel, you're going to wash it out. So I just dialed the light in half. Lovely, lovely. Kia, that's nice, that's lovely. Now she's a little off, you know, she's a little over to the side of the light, but that's okay. It's a wide enough dispersion, so it's actually still working out. And I know I have my equipment in the picture, not going to worry about it. That's not a big deal right now. Let's do this. If you really want to emphasize the light, I won't touch the power, but I put, this is called a click magnum. I won't touch the power, just leave it alone. That's absolutely gorgeous. You're just wonderfully beautiful. See how it bleaches? See, that click magnum just bought me like 3/4 of a stop, maybe even a full stop, right? And that's essential or interesting or advantageous because you have a small light with a small battery. And the more you can conserve that battery, you lengthen your field life, right? Unless you have a gazillion backup batteries, which you should have, you know. So what I can do now, instead of putting 5.0 into it, I can go down to 4.0, which drains my battery less. Now, the other thing that has kind of disappeared is our green. You know, there's a little influence of green back there, you know, but I think what's happening is now I've got a lot of light at this angle. I've got a lot of light washing back there, and it's bleaching out that green. So you know, the last thing you want to do with a gelled area of a photograph is take a broader source and just bang it or whale it in there, because that broad white light source is going to bleach out the color you're trying to achieve. Let's do this one more time and just see. Let me bang up the color of the background light a little bit. I got 7.0 on that now. Okay, same kind of look. Absolutely lovely, fantastic, beautiful. All right, so now that looks pretty nice. It's got a little green tonality to it, a mix. It's mixing with the white light, so it's not a pure green, but I actually kind of like it. I really kind of do, you know? Yeah, I'm getting a shadow from that halo, yep. Actually, you know, that's a good opportunity to just use it. So if you're thinking that, you know, it's a little too rough, you know, and it's also a little bit hot. On my computer anyway, it looks a little hot. So what we could do is we can just fly. This is called a halo diffuser. They diffuse, they reflect, they're gold, they're silver, they're this, they're that. You know, it'll just kind of come in here if we can do that. Yep. Why don't you finish the demo, Seth? I'll run the chat. What a stupid question. No, I'm not. I would never say that. I would never say that. Yeah, I'm going to need more room for camera. Well, you know, what we can just do is we'll pivot that this way, and we'll do this. And now let's, yeah. Okay, cool. Could you step under there, please? How am I doing on time? Am I okay?
You're all right.
All right.
I'll let you know.
All right.
I'll give you that giant hook you're used to. You know?
All right. Cool. Now, let me do this, and then I'm going to need the silver board, please. Okay. All right. Absolutely lovely. Fantastic. Chin up just a tiny bit. Beautiful. Okay. So we aced a lot of light out of this power, but there is potential here. So let's do this. The A group, let's put 2 stops into it. Keep the background light where it is. Now I may alter the background light because now this is going to wash all over the place. This is what, you know, you put up one light, then it's a problem. I put up another light to fix the problem. You create 2 more, right? So that's the ongoing, you know, kind of which lane chicane kind of game you're out there playing. And I've always enjoyed that, you know, just you run yourself into a wall, you back yourself up, you figure it out. Okay, here we go. Lovely, lovely, fantastic. That's a nice photograph, you know. Could be a little brighter on the foreground. Could I get the pizza box, please? Let me go add like 4/10 of a stop. I'm saying these things like, oh, let's put an extra 4/10 of a. These eyes haven't seen 1/10 of a stop since the Obama administration. So, so sometimes you just say that in front of a client, you know, it's like, you know, if things are really going sideways and the client's on the set, you just, you know, all right, you talk to your assistants, all right, take group B, run it up +4, okay, move C, let's put a half CTO on that, let's wing around here, drop a grid in the main. And then the client melts down. It's like, oh my God, he knows what he's doing, you know, and it gets you out of Dodge. Pizza box.
Yeah, man.
The pizza box strikes. Now, it may be a little much.
You know, oh, come on. You forget about it. What are you doing? Look at the neck. Look at the neck. Look at the neck.
Yeah. Anybody else like this? The pizza box.
You're a bunch of cavemen, you know that? Here's white.
All right. All right, we'll try white. Lovely, lovely. Good look, Giselle. Yeah. All right, so that tones that down a little bit. It's to your choice. Remember, lighting is like cooking, you know? I mean, there's a right and there's a wrong. But at the same time, a little bit of salt, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, to your taste, okay? And I think what we've hit here a couple of times anyway tonight has been like we've crossed over with Giselle and gotten a couple of really nice looks out of all this experimentation. And wasn't that big a deal, right? A lot of times we're working with one light. You know, are we still working with one light?
2 lights.
2 lights, okay. All right, cool.
In a pizza box.
2 lights in a pizza box. You know, that's the title of my next book. What you can do with 2 lights in a pizza box. All right, so what time is it, please?
It's a little after 6.
A little after 6.
So you're in the clear. This can be bonus round. It's up to you.
How you guys doing? Wanna- show the 3 different looks.
Just want you to go back to the different looks that you just shot throughout the night.
Can you do that? I can't.
What do you mean you can't? I don't even know what you
am I
shot.
what am I supposed to do?
Look, well, that's one, right?
That's one.
You know, Teresa.
You know.
All right, I tell you what, we'll use
Teresa Raffetto, by the way, she organizes all these things. She's the one who's going to give away the camera tonight, right? And where?
Oh, so for you on live stream, if you're not here, they're giving away a camera for people who showed up. Just so you know. Thanks, Joe.
Okay. Where's Meg? Where's Nikon Meg? There you are. One of my favorite people on the planet. Meg Ozaki, right back there, Nikon, you know, incredible young presence in the industry, knows so much about camera work, but in particular, her bailiwick is like video, like extreme video, like extraordinary video. Like she's got, you know, all of the stuff, you know, the video is like bouncing and singing and dancing, you know.
It's your life before your eyes, Joe.
Okay, look at that. All right, so that's an hour.
That's an hour you'll never get back, Joe.
Yeah. You know? Well, as I say, the deck is stacked in my favor because of Giselle. Let's do one last thing before we get out of Dodge. Does anybody have a question like, hey, could you try this?
Start a new rabbit hole. Go right.
Okay. Well, gosh, Joe, maybe if you could try. You know, I tell you what. What do we got here? We get. Yes.
Do you ever use just a speed light?
interesting question. Do I ever use just a speed light? You're talking to somebody who for many years did exactly that, used just a speed light or potentially a gaggle of them. But here's the thing. I can't predict the future, and I have no knowledge of this, but speed lights, I think, are kind of going away. Maybe that's too strong a word. Oh, please, internet, don't say, Joe McNally says speed lights are extinct. Not the case. I know nothing about the future of speed lights, except to guess that the whole field has swung in the direction of radio-controlled, pretty sophisticated units such as Profoto, Godox, Flashpoint, Westcott, pretty good stuff, right? Profoto is excellent. It's also expensive, but there's a connection there, right? So the stuff is highly engineered, very reliable, takes a beating, and it's there at your fingertips in terms of the controls you need to apply to make light work for you instead of struggle with it. The last thing you want to do on location in front of a client is struggle with your own technology, because that's just a one-way ticket to the client having no confidence in you. And this business is all about confidence, So, I tell you what, I said the strip light, the 1x3, is one of my favorite lights of all time. Let me use it as a main, and then we'll leave on that level. And I'll ask Giselle, instead of looking this way, I'm going to ask her to look to her right, camera right, and we'll leave this kind of an arrangement here, but we'll take this guy that's existing, we'll strip it down, and then we'll put a 1x3 in there. How's that? Okay, and then we can, the bars are open, as they say.
You want to just put a 1x3 on this?
Yeah, it's up, it's ready.
You want to fly it over?
No, I want to put it off to the side, please.
Okay.
Watch your back.
Yep. Actually, I'm going to give you this one because it's already in an adapter. Right?
Oh, perfect. Okay. All right. So once again, I'll try to make sure I don't do something incredibly dumb, and make sure this guy is off. Not going to fire.
Give me this. Take this.
Take that. Cool.
I don't know what that's in.
We'll figure that out. Here we go. All right. So this is 4B. I try to stay organized as best I can.
Strip the back.
Yeah, let's strip the back. Let's get rid of that. This is 4B. I'm going to make it 4A because it's my main light. I try to, stay kind of straight up about that stuff on set.
What's up?
Whoops.
Oh, good. We need.
Well, yeah, let's get rid of all that stuff. And also, too, when I make a segue to another set, just for the sake of clarity of thought, I oftentimes just strip the set. It drives my assistants nuts. If I'm running off a cliff, I'll just say, oh, get rid of everything. And then I just kind of compose, rethink, and then we go in again and try to figure it out. All right.
You're all clear.
Awesome. All right. Giselle, come on over in here if you don't mind. Now, can you comfortably live in that space there and kind of look at that light?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. So this should be a narrow but a very definitive character-driven light for her. And depending on where she is relative to the light, actually, let's leave with this, okay? Let's leave with this. So could you scooch back a tiny bit, okay? And just look at the light, just as an experiment. So let's get a level. Don't need to pose or anything like that. Okay, too bright. Too bright.
Spilling out the side too.
Oh, we got a leak?
Yeah, you see that sharp on the right? On this side? Look, hey, eyes on.
Where are we? Oh, God, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Yeah. Be careful of that. Oftentimes we'll Velcro it's shut. Sometimes I go to the extra step of gaffer taping, sealing the light so you don't have that leak, especially if you're working in a small space. And all right, so 6.4 gave me too hot a light. Let's do 5.6. No need to do anything much here, okay? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Here we go again. Sorry for that. Can you, is it 6.4? All right. No, I'll be all right. There we go. Okay. Now, you're going to say, and rightly so, you know, we're losing the back, you know, shoulder area, her hair, and all that sort of stuff. Let's take a moment. Now, I'm going to put a little more juice in this light. Could you step forward a little bit? Okay, cool. And now just look at the light. See how the shadow thickened? I mean, she moved, what, 3 inches, right? So that's the nature of this light. It can be very, very specific, right? I oftentimes use them as winged backlights, like 3/4 back, especially for an athletic body. If you have like an Olympian and they're all sweating down, you know, you oil them up and sweat them down and this and that, and they're looking at you. You have these 2 of these, 1x3s. I call it 3/4 back, is maybe 45 degrees back here. I measure the distance from the light to the subject, and I get an even kind of rim of hot light. You know, everybody's seen the bodybuilder magazines, right? That's light super crisp because all those muscles need shadows. You're not going to light a world-class power lifter the way you're going to light, you know, again, a baby or something, you know, or a bride, you know.
I've seen some jacked babies, man. I mean,
All right, so move back a little bit. It's a little steep. Okay. All right, here we go. And again, nice and soft into that light. Beautiful. Nice. Very pretty. Okay, that's not bad. All right, I'm at 35 again, which means I'm not being particularly kind to Giselle. But now, just for the sake of argument, sorry, Giselle, could you back off just a little bit so I don't... Where are we here? So I'm basically grabbing stuff off the set that is kind of available to me. I'll make this light group B. I'll put a different gel into it. This C-stand got a little cattywampus here, but we'll make do with it.
see the chat's asking, what if the baby is a power lifter? And that's what I'm trying to say, Joe. Like, fitness doesn't, has no bounds,
All right, so this is 4B, that's fortuitous. 7.0, it's got a gel. Let's see where we go with it. I'll back up a little bit so to be more friendly to Giselle. Yeah, last couple of frames, I swear to God.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Where I need to go is nearby, so it's no problem.
Okay, right there. All right, so there's a little spill. Why? Predictable, right? So, can we put up a black board, please? Sorry to do this to you. Just put it flat against the light source, straight up and down. Yeah, black side towards me. Yep, like that. But what you need to do, we're going to flag it like this.
Got it.
Right there. Okay? I'm taking half steps up here because I have knocked my cameras off of Apple boxes on numbers of occasions. So I'm just kind of All right, here we go. Here we go. Beautiful. That's lovely. And the red is gone off the background. And it's pretty nice. Pretty nice little glimmer there of red. I mean, it's not logical, but it exists. So that's a halo diffuser, which packs up into something that looks like a oversized Nathan's hot dog. And then a 1x3, two A2 lights, and a couple of stands, and a wonderfully gracious, beautiful subject.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So much.
All right. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope Adorama had a good time. Teresa, where do we go from here? Are you going to give away this camera? Or? Okay, all right. All right, I'm saying things out of turn. What else is new? You guys have been great. I really appreciate you braving the elements and coming out tonight. It was wonderful to meet and see all of you, and there's some friends in the audience. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, and hopefully it was a fun hour or so.
Thanks, Joe.